Okay, so let's talk about Berbera. It's a port city in Somaliland, and chances are what you've heard probably isn't great. The headlines tend to paint this part of the world with one really dark brushstroke. But what if that's just not the whole story? Today, we're going to dive into the wild contrasts of a place that can feel like a paradise one minute and a brutal struggle the next. It's a real land of contrasts.
And the whole reason we can even have this conversation is because of a man named Anatoly. You see, he kept hearing all the bloggers and news reports saying the same thing, how terrible, terrible, terrible. And he just got tired of it. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to go see for myself. I want to talk about how terrible it is, or if it's terrible at all.
So who is this Anatoly? Well, he's a retired professor from Cardiff University. Now, you'd think retirement means settling down somewhere quiet in Europe, right? Nope. He decided to start what he calls his third life by moving to Berbera. Talk about an unconventional choice. And what he found when he got there, well, it completely blew all those stereotypes out of the water. From his perspective, as an outsider, it wasn't some dangerous, broken place. It was kind of like a paradise. So let's start there. Let's look at this unexpected side of Somaliland. Okay, so the first stereotype to get shattered? Safety. You just don't expect it. But get this, a full third of their state budget goes to the police and the army. And there's a complete ban on alcohol. Think about what that means. No drunk driving, no bar fights. It just eliminates a whole category of crime. The police are apparently so friendly that they'll pull foreigners over just to say, "Hello, Somali boy." It's a world away from the headlines.
All right, look at this number, $130. Just think about that for a second. What does $130 get you in a city on the coast? Maybe one night in a cheap hotel? A fancy dinner for two if you're lucky?
Try again. In Berbera, that's the rent for a whole month. And not for some tiny studio. We're talking a 3-bedroom, 100-square-meter house. For someone coming in with a pension in dollars or euros, the cost of living isn't just low, it's a total, absolute game changer.
And it's not just about being affordable, it's actually beautiful. We're talking up to 200 kilometers of endless, clean beaches. You can literally watch dolphins swimming right near the shore. And the food? It's a fish paradise. Always fresh, caught that day, and super cheap. You can grab a cup of amazing, high-quality Arabica coffee for just 50 cents. I mean, come on. For an outsider, it sounds like an absolute dream, right?
Yeah, it sounds perfect. But this is where the story flips completely. Because that life, that beautiful, affordable paradise, that's only one side of the coin. It's the story seen through the eyes of a foreigner.
So now, we have to look at the other side, the one that doesn't show up in a travel blog. This is the harsh reality, the daily struggle for survival for the overwhelming majority of people who actually live there.
About 80%. Let that number sink in. It represents a reality that is just a different universe from the one we were just talking about.
That's the percentage of the population living on less than $2 a day. And on top of that, the average family has somewhere between 6 and 10 children. Imagine trying to feed that many mouths on less than $2. It's not about getting ahead. It's a monumental, daily task just to find enough food to survive.
And if you want to understand what that actually looks like, Anatoly tells this absolutely heart-wrenching story. He saw 2 little girls just rummaging through a trash container, and one of them found half a banana. And he said they were both just so happy. Think about that. That find, that was pure happiness for them.
This contrast extends to the most basic thing, housing. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got the expat's home, a concrete house rented for about $130 a month with locks on the doors. On the other side, the shack a local family lives in. It's built in half a day from sticks and branches, no locks. And yeah, theft is a common problem.
So, how do these two realities even exist in the same city? The paradise and the deep struggle, side by side. Well, in Berbera, this paradox isn't just an idea, it's woven into the fabric of everyday life.
Living there day to day means dealing with some pretty big cultural shocks. The electricity just goes out for hours at a time. As a foreigner, you often get hit with an unspoken 20% surcharge for basically a tax because you're seen as wealthy. You also notice little things like the words thank you just aren't really part of the culture, and then there's the crushing fact that about half the population is illiterate.
There's this one story from Anatoly's time there that just captures this whole paradox perfectly.
He decided to visit some local hot springs. Step one was the ride itself, an hour in a beat-up car with bald tires, driving over sand and through pits. Not exactly a luxury tour. Then he gets there, to the destination, and these natural hot springs are completely surrounded by slums and unsanitary conditions. And that was the experience in a nutshell. The water itself was amazing, really hot, but the environment around it was just dirty and unwelcoming. It's Berbera in a single trip.
So, what are we supposed to make of all this? Anatoly's story isn't just some interesting travel diary. It's really a plea for all of us to look beyond the easy headlines, to see the much, much more complicated reality of a place like this.
Look, it's easy to just focus on the horrors, right? To just say it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Or, if you're a foreigner with some money, it's easy to just see the paradise. But what Anatoly is urging us to do is to see past both of those simple labels, to see the actual, living people who are caught in the middle and who are in desperate need of real help.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. How much of the real story do we lose when we slap a simple label on a place? When we just call it beautiful or terrible? What's really lost in that huge gap between those two words?